Hi, my name is Spencer Cabello, and I am here today to go ahead and do a walkthrough with you on the Ozark Trail Kayak, aka Sun Dolphin. This is bought from Walmart. This is the Walmart version of the Sun Dolphin. They call it the Ozark Trail. So starting from the rear, and we're going to work our way to the front. So here we are starting at the rear. You have your drain plug. You know, after a day you want to drain it out, you can do it to the rear. Moving up, you have these bungee. They're not the best bungee. If you have, stuff that's going to be really low, then yes, you can make it work. But these hooks do not keep the bungee in place for anything that comes, well, relatively this high. Because what ends up happening is they slip out of the hook, so on and so forth. You may want to think of a better idea for bungee or ratchet straps. Moving on up, you have pole holders here and here. And they work pretty well. They pretty much keep everything still in terms of you're able to reach around and grab it if you wanted to go fishing, so on and so forth. Sorry, that's my kid in the background. And then you have this hatch that locks and everything, so on and so forth. This does come with a dry bag, but I don't use the dry bag in the rear because I don't see the point. Instead, I put my own dry bag in. And if you look on the inside here, you can see my wife, if she gets the idea to move forward and show you the inside of the bucket, you can see that it stays relatively dry. And I'll get to how I worked that myself. And then it all locks, so on and so forth. And then you have this right here to help hook your seat in when you're traveling. Moving on up, you have the chair, which is a very comfortable chair. This chair, you breathe well in it. It's comfortable. You can adjust it on the rear to your back, and you can adjust it on the bottom. You can sit low. You can sit high. Now, the one thing that I did see in other videos is that this chair tends to fall out of place. Well, I fixed that problem by literally just taking a bungee cord and going around this bar right here and linking it to here. It has never popped out on me. I mean, I'm not exactly the biggest guy, but I'm not the smallest guy. That being said, I've never fallen out of track. Moving on up, you have the kayak the paddle holders on each side. You can also put your pole in there as well. It does come with 4 scuffle holders. Or scuffle plugs, and then you have this nice track right here that you can put a cup holder, GPS, fish finder, so on and so forth. And then you have this nice padding for standing up and everything. I had no trouble standing up with this kayak at all, and pretty much I was able to stand up going down the river, cast out, so on and so forth. I had no problems. And then with this is an assist to help you stand up and sit down. And then you have your foot braces here and here. They, from what I've seen in other videos for other kayaks, they're okay. They do pop out and stuff when it gets warm out, but for being $350, it's not really that big of a deal to me. Again, you have the 2 side handles on each side, and then moving on up, you have these what are they again? Scuffle plugs.
Yeah.
You have these scuffle drains, so on and so forth. With these, what I did is, because they were a really small hole, is I actually drilled them out to be a little bit bigger to help them drain better on all 4 of these. And yeah, it does help drain out the kayak a lot faster when you're going down. I had no problem. What you're seeing on it right now is just from rain. What you're seeing here is rain, so on and so forth. But when I was on the water, there was no problem. I didn't have any water inside the boat or anything like that. And then you have another hatch right here that comes with a little dry bag that I do use. And you want to make sure that when you do go to buy these kayaks that they do have all the parts and so on and so forth. and it works out pretty well. It kept everything perfectly dry. I didn't really need it because no water got in here. That being said, moving on to the front, you got more bungee up here. I was able to put a cooler up here, so on and so forth, and have no problems walking up to it and getting to the cooler. And then you have another drain plug and a handle right here. The drain plug if you want to drain out up here. So that being said, with the top of the kayak, it turned out to be a pretty good trip. I've taken this thing out twice, and I had no issues. Now, to be on the negative side, this kayak does not want to move for you that well. It's not. This kayak does take some muscling to get going, so on and so forth. But the advantage to that is that you float down the river slowly, meaning you can take your time, cast an area, so on and so forth, stand up and fish comfortably down the river. I could compare this to being a lazy boy going down the river for fishermen, meaning you would have no problem casting, no problem bringing a fish in, so on and so forth. That also being said, I did miss one thing, is you do have this nice pole holder right here that can turn and swivel, so on and so forth. And now to get on to the things that I fixed off of other YouTube channels that I watched, so on and so forth. I basically took all the hatches off of the boat, and I did Flex Seal around the entire hatch. And basically that sealed the hatch, because they were saying on the shows themselves, they were saying that water was coming in through the hatch. Well, I went ahead and fixed that with using Flex Seal. They don't pay me to do this. They're not sponsoring me, no nothing like that. I went to a Dollar General and I bought Flex Seal for $6. And I took all the screws off, took the hatch off, and I Flex Sealed here. I Flex Sealed the actual lip itself, and it sealed everything. I did that on both hatches and more. So that tended to help as well. Now the other thing that I did also find on this boat is with flipping it over, just gotta take this thing out. Taking that thing out right there real quick. With this, I found on the bottom of the boat that there are these other holes that are on here. I don't know if you can actually see them. These are the 4 main scupper holes right here that you can see I drilled out. Well, there was these other two sets that were under here that I noticed there was no holes on at all. None. Like there was no plug or anything, but it seemed like they were scupper holes. So I went ahead and I did a little pinhole in each one of them to make sure that they drained out. And it seemed to help out a lot, actually, with draining, so on and so forth. Because the first trip I did, I didn't have these. And granted, I didn't have any water in the boat, but it seemed to be able to travel better on the second trip. Like I said, I didn't have any water, but at the end of the trip when I looked inside the boat, but it just seemed to help. I don't know why. And then the other things that I did as well is I did Flex Seal around this little track guide or whatever you want to call it, so on and so forth. And then I did use flex tape up here to help kind of with bumping and everything. And you can see that that's helped out a lot as well for being an amateur on it. And that's it. This is the Ozark Trail from Walmart. You can zoom in right there and you can see it. Pretty decent kayak for 350 bucks. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you liked it. If not, leave comments below on how I can improve. Thanks. Bye.